Hello there and welcome to another session of 31 art journals. So today's art journal is it's a book that I brought, but I covered it in fabric and it's kind of padded. So what you can see outside is, it's quite old now. So some of these things, I think I'll have to do a little repair job on them. Okay, there we go. So what I have here is some sequins. I'd crocheted this and I've just attached it. Let me just open it out so you can see it. So at the back I used jeans material, and what that was for was to provide a place to put pens. What does this say? Just art. So, oh, this was the front. I think I made it to be the front, but then, yeah, because look, it's got a little clasp here. So I made it to be the front. Let me see. Yeah, I'd made it to be the front, but it didn't actually turn out to be the front. So, of course, the pocket's upside down, but that doesn't matter. I mean, I never use the pocket anyway. But I padded it and then just stitched it to make it look interesting. And this is like some African wax fabric. And this was like another one of the first art journals that I made. And again, if you think about the first video that I showed you, it had images similar to this, and it's about me stepping into the realm of being an artist and mixed media, because I was dabbling with mixed media, and like in this it says it's not about being rescued anymore, it's about making a choice, and it was very important for me to find a way to express what it was I was doing, what it was I wanted to do. So I came across, this was one of my first introductions to mixed media, and I came across Tam from Willowing, and we did this exercise where we wrote, negative words that have been used or we've used in our lives, and then we were to find a word that we could hold on to and then create an image. And this was the one I created. This was one of my very first mixed media, and it's done with watercolor pastels. It's got some gesso, it's got some texture, it's got some stamping and everything, and it says you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I used faith as my word, and faith, I placed it under her eye, because for me it was about the faith that we, in our belief, faith in what we see. Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So just because I can't see it doesn't necessarily mean that it won't manifest, that I can't, The idea of being an artist was just like, other people saying, oh, why don't you just, that's no job, job's not a proper job and all of this. And it was just like, but I believe that I am being called to be creative, and that's what I want to do. And I spent many, many years in corporate jobs, in education, doing other things. And when I came across mixed media, I felt as if I'd come home, and it was just like, I need to find out about everything to do with mixed media, everything, so that I can find where I want to be. And obviously, I mean, my style has changed a lot from here, and I do a lot more figurative pieces and sculpture and I do a whole bag, a whole mixed bag of things, but because I found the areas of the things that I want to work in. So this was one of the first, and I was like, okay, I like doing faces, I really do. So I'll do some more, and I did. And the style was just like, it spoke to me, but it was about me telling myself things, you know. So fly, hope, soar. They will soar on the wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. And that's Isaiah 40:31. So my faith was coming into my creativity, and it was about, how do I encourage myself? How do I encourage other people? And I just continued, you know. I was drawing bigger, because, as you can see, you know, with the other journals, I was, you know, creating smaller images, but this was about being bigger. Let me see if I've got the one that I showed you before. So in terms of the size, and, you know, that I was expanding. And halfway through these, like if you see this particular one, I was practicing, and I was trying to prepare myself. And then I decided to let it go and draw bigger. And again, use this to practice. So some of these, when I look back on them now, would make really nice stories. Really nice cards, or, you know, whatever it is. There are some that I haven't finished. Like, I changed, she had a she had a long chin as well, and so I changed her. I don't like the way her eyes are, so I might go back in. But this is also a good representation of a style that I had at that particular time. But I do like pages to be finished, so, you know, like, there may be a time where I'm sitting and I want to do something. Again, as I say, they all had, I did this, I love this actually. I did her first, and I think maybe a year later I came back and I was practicing with these pens. And it says, just in case the glare of the light, it says, peace. I had to seek, knock and ask. I found peace deep within. I trusted and let go, and the doors were opened. Wow, powerful, eh? And it's so amazing. That's, for me, it's so amazing what you can do. And I do love this. This is one of my favourite journals, even though it's an old one, and it's kind of, you know, pages falling out and things like that. So again, when I decided that, like, so I felt her chin was too pointy, so I decided to change it. But I want to do something with this. So, and these pages I really liked. I started using gesso, and it was a more expensive, it was the Current Dash, is it Current Dash? The water-soluble crayons or pastels, and they had a whole different feel. So when you use cheap materials, you will know. When you use more expensive materials and you're using better quality paper and things like that, then you will know the difference. But I also think there is a place for, you know, the cheaper pencils and crayons as a start, because it helps get you just free, you know. Again, pages that I've done, and it spoke to where I was at the time. Pages that I started and I haven't yet got round to finishing. And just again, these were, oh wow. I was gonna do something with charcoal with this one. So this is one that I changed. So this was part of her hair. But I've decided to change it. I decided to change it. So these are characters that I wanted to create a little book, and I wanted to create a whole group of characters, and they were going to be the owls. So you're going to have a whole set of the family. So I continue to use this as a means for practicing my art. Once I found my wings, I realised I already knew how to fly, so I could soar to new heights. For me, that's what it's about. It's about finding who it is, what it is you are. Practicing. Once upon a time, a beautiful young girl allowed her creative talents to rise to the surface. She surprised herself and began to love herself for who she truly was. And for me, it was about self-love, about, you know, take the time to really nurture yourself and become the woman you were truly meant to be. And so just practicing. Practice. And when it doesn't go right, or you don't want to work on it anymore, try something else, move on. But the more you practice, the better you get. Now this is an interesting one. This is leap, thinking of change, letting go, making room. Yeah, courage. There's a bird here, there's mountains, there's an odd looking sun, there's a boat here, you can see some fishes. We can see, oh, so we've got like a built up area on this side. Built up area on this side with lots of people. We've got a kite, we've got a book here, and it says chapter 27. There came a time when I thought that things would have to change. I needed to explore life, live my life, not others, not be what others expected, but be true to who God made me to be. And that's kind of like a theme, finding yourself, finding who you really are, and having the courage. And some of the words I've got in this section, it says letting go, thinking of change, making room, fly, leap, mountain tops and valleys. And so this is about like a chapter in your book of life, or your life book. And this was, you know, looking at the built-up period. Maybe is like, you know, moving from the city to the country, and the birds whispering in your ear. You've got a boat here, rather than concrete over on this side. So using your journal to really speak and allow you to express your voice. This is called The Lighthouse Keeper. It was a painting that I did in my journal, but I really liked it, and I haven't yet created a bigger one. I also practiced stories, beginnings of stories, things that I wanted to turn into a story, paintings that just so on these pages just feel so yummy. So I'll just show you the start of a story. Is this the start of a story? Yeah, she came to the town. Not sure where she came from, but she came with love. And she had love in a box. And she walked very far, you know, because there were trees. She walked very far. So I haven't finished this yet, but this is a story that I want to create. And as she passed the trees, she took off her, her head thing. It's changed colour as well. Or maybe she took it off. So she took it off, and that was what she was wearing underneath. But she took one of the hearts and she took it to the built-up areas, the towns. And you can see that she's passing the towns and going back to where it's nature. So again, using your journals as a way to tell a story or to tell stories, and you can then use them again in larger paintings, or why not make a story? And this is something, you know, as I'm looking at it now, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I could, you know, really do that story. So it does go on, but I'm not gonna, the rest of the pages really aren't kind of done. And so I was practicing here. Oh, these stuck together. So these are from photographs that I was just playing about and practicing. And again, one of the things that I wanted to do was, and that I really liked with this book, is that for some reason the paper in this book responded really well to gesso. When you put gesso on there, it just makes it kind of really like a, not leathery, but yeah, leathery, kind of fabricy, like it's a fabric. So this is the turning point where I started experimenting with kind of pulling images out of, as opposed to saying, I want her to have these kind of eyes, a nose, and the chin is always too long. What I did with these, and this was a first, was to kind of pull the images out. And as I tried to see what images were there, their proportions were, they were all in proportion. It was just like, it was just really amazing. And that's how I've worked ever since. And again, just played with colour. So this particular page was done with a card, and all I did was get the paint on the card and put the paint on the card, and then just, or put the paint here, and just did that, and then just worked on it. So practice different techniques. Again, practicing, I love the feel. So practicing with, as you can see, pro marker pens. So, as you can see, oh, this is my friend's son. So just practicing, just practicing faces. So I started out my journey, before I did mixed media, I started out drawing. And I draw from photograph. But what I wanted to do as a mixed media artist was to be able to create my own faces. So not, it doesn't have to be from a photograph, but create. And so that's, again, what these are for. I practiced finding what I liked about the face and what I wanted to represent. You know, again, I said, you know, I wanted realistic eyes. But as I went on, I found out that I wanted a realistic face. I didn't want to make her or him. I didn't want to make them look odd. Not look odd, but I wanted to make them realistic, but imagined. This is some, not stencils, I cut out silhouettes and then added them to this page. I did a video of them. If I can find it, I'll show you. So this is what happens when you don't, if you don't seal the page, or if you're working with particular materials in a book. After time, when it sticks, whatever I put on one of the pages sticks. I mean, I still do like them, and what I could do is just repair it and just go over these bits. So that's something. Oh, here's another one. I did a video to this one, and I'll try and link to it. I Am Enough. I linked to the actual making of this page. I really loved it. I loved it. And if you see how it started, you'll actually be amazed. I was amazed at how it finished. Again, just play, more play. And it's up to you to decide what you want to do with them. I was playing with quinoa and glue gun. And this is something that, with the glue gun, I've taken into other art pieces. So this was something I was practicing just to see how it would be, but it then worked well on canvas. And then these, the quinoa, so I just glued them in and then painted them. And I've got some other journals that I'll be showing you throughout this month that I've kind of taken this idea. And that's the good thing about, you know, working in your journal, so that you can try out something. Here I was trying out like folded paper to create, you know, skirts, and to see how I would get on. And again, here's some pieces that I hadn't really shared or shown. Perhaps I need to, or not, as the case may be. I was working with wax, so I just took a candle and drew an image and then painted. Drew the image on, so the green is where I had just laid down colour. Then I put the wax and then I just painted. And so, you know, it's good to be able to practice. And this one, did I stick this down yet? No. So I did these pages, so I think, you know that song, red knobs on roses and whiskers on kittens. So I think of my favourite things. That's what, you know, my favourite things. Did I write in there? No, I didn't. But the favourite things were kind of wrapped up in these little bubbles here. That's on that page. And on this page, I don't know whether I was going to add her somewhere, but this was a painting I'd done on recycled paper. They were old bills, really. And the bills, when you get, like, you know, your phone bill or whatever it is, they use a thicker paper than the you know, the paper that you go through your printer. So sometimes that's actually good to be able to paint on and recycle. It's never too late to dream. You are becoming who you always meant to become. So again, just practicing different techniques, using, when I got different tools, these are kind of metallic pens, you know, trying them out. Went through a phase of wanting to, you know, do the lettering. So this is a page that only one side, this side hasn't been gessoed, but this side has. I just love the feel, I really do. So the rest of it is just kind of bits of writing that I've done and more blank pages, and things that I was going to practice, stamps that I was wanting to, did I make this one? And made this one with stamp, made the stamp. So I just, and this was like, I've got a cricket, cut these out, and these are good as use it as a stencil. So yeah, that was it. The last few pages were taken up with a stamp that I was making and practicing. And these pages, again, it's just a layer, so I could gesso over this, I could create another image. So there you go, that's this journal. Wow, I loved it. I love this journal. See where it was kind of worn, I've kind of put duct tape there, but it's a really nice, I really enjoy using this journal. I guess the thing that I found about this, even though I had done the you know, the beading, was that it was impractical, because it's, you know, rough and tumble, take it everywhere, put it in my bag and take it round and about, and these really are not practical for it. What would have been more practical would be, you know, like something that you could put your pens in or something like that. So there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed looking through this particular journal, and I hope I've given you maybe some ideas that you can you know, try out for yourself. Think about the kind of journals that you like, you know, think about whether you want to buy it, whether you want to, you know, make it yourself or whatever. But and think about, you know, don't think too hard about what you want to put in it. You know, just start something. And this is how they start. When I thought, oh gosh, it's got to be like this, I've got to do this in this particular journal, you create, you know, kind of barriers for yourself. And I think you should just use it how you will. If you then decide that I want to do, say, I just want to do these kind of images with messages, you know, then because you've been working through them, you can say, okay, well, I'm going to use this journal for this. So I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you've enjoyed looking through this journal with me, and look forward to sharing with you tomorrow's journal. So take care for now. Please do subscribe to the channel, and I will be showing you, as I said, I will be showing you a technique next month out of these journals. So you know, you will see how I then work on a page, or if there's a picture that I want to revamp, how I would do it. Okay, so bye for now. Take care. Please do like and subscribe, and please do come back tomorrow. Okay, bye.